The United Way of Greater Hazleton recently took time to thank individuals and companies who helped them and our community. Their annual campaign kickoff is the topic of today's news feature with Lisa Sugart and the United Way of Greater Hazleton's president and CEO, Pat Ward.
Our United Way is rolling off arguably the worst year we had as far as fundraising goes, maybe ever. And a lot of that had to do with the continuing COVID world that we live in and the effect that it has had on people that normally give to us. And that's really the businesses, because many of the businesses and industries were working on reduced schedules. A lot of people were working from home, and we did this campaign virtually as well. We did a lot of electronic pledging and things like that, and our numbers weren't quite where we wanted them to be. And during our annual meeting, we did announce a cash total of $288,866. Now, we also include a figure of in-kind gift services plus contributions that our United Way itself makes back to the community through our programming and staff efforts. And that was another $166,000 roughly. So the grand total last year was $454,754, and that's down from the year before. But however, now we start to look forward to the coming year, because there's a paradox here in that while we raised the fewest dollars in a long time, we actually helped more people. In some instances, the number of people that were served by United Way agencies in this community increased by a factor of about 2.5. And that, Lisa, was all across the board, mainly assistance of an emergency kind, families that needed food, things like that. But there's always there's things that are forgotten sometimes, like during the COVID pandemic, there was an increase, very sadly, in the number of cases of domestic violence. And that's another agency that we work hand in hand with, the Domestic Violence Service Center. So we were able to provide them with some assistance. In the campaign before last, we received a lot of emergency grant money. Unfortunately, that didn't happen the immediate past year. We made several key announcements, but three that involved individuals in our community that we considered, we being the United Way, considered to be very helpful to us in various efforts throughout the past year. We awarded the United Way Volunteer of the Year award to Harry Werkheiser. Harry is the proprietor of Bonanza Steakhouse. We presented the Henry Giuliani Humanitarian Award to Lauren Sacco, and Lauren's family has multiple businesses, including Vito's Lawn Care and Frankie's Pizza. And we created a new award, the Richard M. Salo Jr. Award for service to the community, after our own Rich Salo, who we lost, unfortunately, way too young, 18 months ago. And that award went to Tony Colombo. Now, they've all done things, the three of them, our trio, if you will, Lisa. They've done things together and separately, but most notably, they all kicked in and helped us lead our feeding efforts during COVID, and particularly the Christmas dinner and the Easter dinner. And I would be remiss, very important awards, the United Way Top 10. I won't run down the whole top 10, but once again, our leading contributor across the board was PPL Corporation, and the industrial contributor, the largest employee corporate contributor, was Fabrical Corporation.
Today's news feature is brought to you by Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazleton. Remember, in an emergency, our emergency room is the safest place to be.